Hey everyone, my name is Demarcus, and today we're taking a look at the Cursed Hollow map in Heroes of the Storm. Alright, Heroes of the Storm recently launched a full version, and a lot of people are probably really confused by the game's multiple map structure. A lot of MOBAs usually only have one map, and you excel at individual play, but in this game, it's a lot more about battleground and coordinated efforts. So, we're going to take a look at this map's basic, the battleground mechanics, alright, how you could succeed at them, and a few tips that will make you immediately better at the map once you realize them. All right, so this is a very large map. I'm pretty sure this is the largest map in the game. There are three lanes. All right, so your typical map rules do apply. You'll want to send two top, two bottom, and one mid as per usual. All right, and once again, this is just mid solo because the back and forth you can gank, good presence. And then two top and bottom, especially because there's always a tribute either top or bottom. Sometimes it might be worth a gamble. It's random, but the tribute either spawns in one of these three locations. See these here, these orange things. These are always where the tributes spawn. So anywhere you see these orange, there's three spots. The closest one to mid lane is surrounded by this rock wall. That's this one here, okay? If you can, if you get this one, it's actually a bit farther to get there than it seems because you have to go around the rock wall. And this will really penalize a team that gets there late because if you come from, say you're red side on this map here, if you come from the red side, you're not gonna have to walk around the rock wall, and there's line of sight there. So when the team from the blue side comes around it, they're very likely to get ambushed. It's a very, very good tactic that I would definitely recommend. But this probably won't happen early in the game. So the first tribute is gonna spawn a few minutes into the game. It's kind of disputed, and they have changed it over the past a bunch of patches since beta. It does seem to be about 150 seconds, so 2.5 minutes. But I don't know, maybe at this point it's changed. It seems pretty fair. Regardless, whenever it does happen, you need to be ready for it, all right? When it happens, all your team is going to want to react. There's some school of thought that recommends one person not reacting. Basically, if all five of the other team react and only four of your team go and one person stays in the lane, that's a direct experience bonus. But you have to not lose the team fight. It's very likely that at level 3 or 4, or whatever it is when the first one spawns, 4v5 is going to be a loss. This may not always be the case in quick match, especially because you're playing teams that aren't equal. So maybe you have two healers on your team. Say you have Lily and Uther on your team. Well, Lily's not going to do much healing this early. I mean, she can, but Uther makes a much bigger impact with the stun. So it might be a good idea to leave Lily bottom when the tribute's top and have your other four go. If all five of theirs react, you'll have a very good native experience bonus gain from Lily soaking down there. And you should still be able to stun and heal your way through any fight. 4v5 isn't the end of the world as long as all five of them aren't damage dealers or they don't have three tanks or three healers or something. But once the tribute does spawn, everybody should react from there. There's always going to be the three locations, and the leftmost of the top and the rightmost of the bottom are right next to these watchtowers. All right, these are basically sites in the game, right? Effectively wards in other games, but you control them just like you control the Dragon Knight or something like that. You have to stand in them for about 4 seconds before it's yours, and then once it is, it gives true sight. It will see through line of sight. It won't reveal invisible units, but it's still very useful to have. So if you just had a tribute up top, it'd be a very good idea to try to get positioned down bottom to get that site because it's a pretty good chance that that's where it's going to be. Now, another big important part of this is the boss, all right? The mechanics of this map are very conducive to mercenaries. Basically, the tribute spawns, and after you get it, it's gone for about a minute and a half-ish, I think it's 70 seconds. So you have plenty of time to really, really push out some mercenaries. Once you get 3 tributes as well, the enemy team gets cursed, all right? That reduces the health of all forts, and it immobilizes them, it makes them inactive. They can't do damage. They won't shoot. And all minions that spawn on the other side, they have 1 health. They actually have a full health bar, so they can be healed, but nobody's actually going to ever heal them. So you can easily clear a wave with just a single ability Joanna's Q or any ability that can hit multiple targets. It will do 100% of their health as they have 1 health. And when you're cursed, it seems like a really good time to push, but the enemy team is very likely to defend in this situation. So a very, very common strategy, especially when the third tribute is right next to the boss. So for example, down here, if you get this tribute or this tribute, all right, and you're the blue side, you got this third one, you got this as your third, then a very good idea is going for this boss. Even early, if all 5 of your guys react for this boss, you can easily get this. And another really strong tactic is to go right for the other boss. This is probably a bit more risky early, but definitely recommended later, because what you can do is you can get the curse. The enemy team has to defend. They can't, if they don't defend, they're going to lose structures. It's inevitable. The structures can't defend themselves. So even if no heroes interact, the structures will die. And then the enemy team is, they're defending. So you can push, or, maybe a team fight breaks out, or you could simply add on to your advantage. You go for the boss, get the boss. You could also go for the bruisers or brawlers, whatever they're called now. Bruiser camp, yeah. You can go for those. All right, that's another really good, it's really difficult to clear that out, especially when the curse is happening. So either way, go for either of those two camps, and then they'll see it, right? So for example, they're clearing mid, you know what I mean? They're back here mid defending their towers, and then they see the boss come from the bottom. All right, well, it's going to go through this fort. It's going to rip through this fort that can't defend itself, and they're going to have to react to that. So when they go bottom to react to the boss, you can deke them out by going top and getting the second boss, which is then, it's basically a 3-for-1. You didn't even have to engage them in a fight, which is definitely the worst idea. If you can push, you definitely want to, but you don't want to engage in a fight during the curse unless you absolutely have to, because the value that you're gaining from being able to siege freely is way too high. You just want to clear as much minions as you can, because don't forget, every time a minion dies, you get experience. So a great idea, once you've gotten those two bosses, 3 lanes, split up, 2-2, 1-1, whatever you got to do, get people spread out, and just go clear those easy minions that have 1 health. Even, a Holy Light will just clear them all out, or, Divine, whatever the Oath ability is, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, you know what I mean. So that's that. The boss is incredibly important. A well-timed boss is very, very, very strong. And I would definitely recommend it after a tribute is cleared. Or perhaps, after you fight a tribute, maybe you actually, you don't get the tribute, right? So another really good tactic here is to zone. So for example, if we're on this tribute up here, there's 2 brush right next to it, back and forth of it, all right? So a really good idea is to simply come up to this tribute location, even though it's not where the actual tribute is, and try to create a zone. Try to make the fight happen farther up. So if you're the red team, create that zone closer to the blue team's entrance point. Because if you can get there and zone them, prevent them from getting to the tribute, you can have, say, a Zeratul, or maybe even a support. Somebody that's not vital to winning that team fight, be back there, getting the tribute, and then you push and force the fight. Oftentimes, you're going to lose the fight because of this. But say you trade 3 for 3. They have 2 up, you only have... well, yeah, either way, you trade 2 for 3, right? That's pretty realistic in a 4v5. You trade 2 for 3. Now you still have a few guys left that can get that boss. If you have at least 3 people, you can get that boss. And you got the curse because of that zone tactic. Now they're going to be screwed. They only have 2 people to defend, and you're able to just get both bosses without them able to contest. By the time your guys res, you can easily push out those last, the last health on either of those bosses and probably make a significant dent. So that's all I have for Cursed Hollow. The timers are pretty long, and it's a very long and large map. You'll definitely have to get used to it, but it's a pretty prototypical meta. You just want to try to objectify everything you can. If you can zone, if you can force people off the objective, you want to do it. And this is one map where you definitely want to get the objective. You don't want to stop them from getting it, because the more you stall, the harder the map becomes. I've seen, especially the first tribute, it's just a deadlock, and it goes on for like 10 minutes, and that's not good. You're losing experience when you do that. Understand that. So it's not actually a bad idea at all to let them get one of the tributes. For example, you get the first 2. They haven't gotten one yet. They're going to really, really, really command a presence at the 3rd one. They don't want to let you get it so early. Well, you just deke them out by sending 2 top, 2 bottom, keep pushing. You're going to push, you're going to get experience, you're going to get more experience than they will. They'll just get 1, and as long as you don't fall behind really late in the game, that 1 should never be the reason you lose. It'd be much more valuable to get the experience. I think a lot of people would agree. So if you have any questions about Cursed Hollow, let me know, but it's definitely the largest map and requires some pretty good coordination.